The woman in apartment 14. When Clara moved into apartment 14, the landlord gave her only one strange piece of advice. If you hear someone knocking from inside the wall, he said, don't knock back. Clara laughed. I don't think that's something I'll have to worry about. The landlord did not laugh. 3 nights later, Clara woke up at exactly 3:17 a.m. She opened her eyes. The sound was coming from the wall beside her bed. Clara sat up. Hello? Silence. She stared at the wall. Then came 3 more knocks. She got out of bed and pressed her ear against the wall. Nothing. She went back to sleep. The next night, it happened again. 3:17 a.m. This time, Clara whispered, Who's there? Nothing. Then a woman's voice came from inside the wall. Please. Clara froze. The voice sounded muffled, as if the woman was trapped somewhere behind the drywall. Please, let me out. Clara jumped away from the wall. She grabbed her phone and turned on the flashlight. There was nothing unusual. She called the landlord. He answered after several rings. Did you hear her? He asked. Clara's stomach dropped. You know about this? There was a long silence. Then the landlord said, Don't answer her. Who is she? Just don't answer her. What happens if I do? The landlord hung up. She tried calling him, but he didn't answer. Clara didn't sleep. She couldn't. The next day, she tried to call the landlord again, but he did not pick up. She decided to search the apartment building online. She found an old newspaper article from 15 years ago. A woman named Mara Bell had lived in apartment 14. One night she called the police and told them someone was trying to get into her apartment. The police arrived. The door was locked from the inside. Mara was gone. They searched the building, but never found her. The case was never solved. Clara stared at the article. Then she noticed something. The photograph of Mara looked strangely familiar. Not because Clara knew her, because Mara was wearing the exact same necklace Clara had inherited from her grandmother. Clara touched the necklace around her own neck. Her grandmother had given it to her when she was only 16. She had always told Clara it belonged to someone in the family. Clara suddenly felt sick. That night, she didn't go to bed. She sat on the couch with every light on. 3:16 a.m. She watched the clock. 3:17. Nothing happened. Clara exhaled. Then she looked toward the door, her bedroom door. The voice was coming from the wall in her bedroom. Clara stood and slowly walked into her bedroom. The woman's voice whispered, Clara. Clara's blood ran cold. How do you know my name? The woman began crying. Because I was you. Clara couldn't move. The woman continued, Please listen to me. Clara stepped closer to the wall. Are you Mara? I was Mara. What does that mean? A pause. Then, the apartment doesn't let people leave. Clara felt a chill move through her body. What are you talking about? I disappeared 15 years ago. Clara stared at the wall. But you're still here. Yes. The woman began whispering faster. It keeps us here. Who? The apartment. Clara almost laughed. That doesn't make any sense. I know. The woman started sobbing. That's what I said too. Then she whispered, Clara, you need to leave before 3:30. Clara looked at the clock. 3:25. Why? Because after 3:30, it chooses someone. Clara grabbed her keys and ran out of her room. I'm leaving. Don't use the front door. Clara stopped. Why? 'Cause that's how it gets you. Clara looked toward the apartment door. The handle slowly turned. Clara backed away. The door opened. Nobody was there. The hallway was completely empty and dark. Then she heard footsteps. Someone was walking toward her. Clara slammed the door shut and went back to her room. She ran to the window. She opened it and looked down. Her apartment was on the second floor. She could climb down. She grabbed the bedsheet and tied it around the radiator. Behind her, the wall began knocking. Clara! It was Mara. Don't go through the window. Clara looked back. Why? Mara screamed. Because that's how I tried to escape. Clara froze. What happened? Silence. Then Mara whispered. I fell. Clara looked down. There was no pavement beneath her window. There was only darkness, a darkness that seemed impossibly deep. Clara pulled herself back inside. The clock read 3:29. The knocking stopped. Everything became completely silent. Then the woman's voice came from the wall. It's time. Clara backed into the corner. What happens now? Mara whispered. It takes your place. Clara didn't understand. Then she heard the apartment door open. Someone walked inside. Clara turned. A woman was standing in the doorway. She looked exactly like Clara. Same eyes, same face, same clothes, same necklace. The woman smiled. Clara screamed. The copy walked toward her. Clara tried to run, but the room seemed to stretch. The walls moved farther away. The copy reached her. Then everything went black. The next morning, the landlord's knocking on the door of apartment 14. Clara opened the door for him. She smiled at him. Good morning. The landlord stared at her. Are you okay? Clara nodded. I'm fine. He looked nervous. Did you hear anything last night? Clara shook her head. No. The landlord slowly nodded. Good. He turned to leave. Then Clara called after him. Wait. He turned around. Clara touched the necklace around her neck. Did you ever find out what happened to Maribel? The landlord's face went pale. No. Clara smiled. That's strange. She walked toward the bedroom wall. Then she leaned close to it and whispered, Because she's still here. From inside the wall came 3 soft knocks. The landlord stared at Clara. She smiled wider. Then she whispered, She's waiting for the next person. The landlord ran. Clara waited until the front door slammed. Then she walked back toward the wall. She whispered, You can stop knocking now. A woman's voice answered from inside. It was Clara's voice. Please, let me out. Clara smiled. You will get your turn. 5 days later, someone unlocked the door of apartment 14. A young woman stood outside. She had just moved in. The landlord handed her the keys. Then he looked at her nervously. If you hear someone knocking from inside the wall, he said, just don't say anything and don't worry about it. The woman laughed. The landlord did not laugh. From inside apartment 14 came 3 faint knocks. And from inside the wall, Clara whispered, Please.